The following is a ComAvia production. ComAvia, leading edge media for the aviation industry.
Hi, I'm Rob Mark for Jetwhine.com, and we're on the ground here in Toulouse, France to go fly the A380, the largest civil airliner in the world. It weighs 1.2 million pounds of max gross takeoff weight. Let's go have some fun.
The A380 is enormous, 238 feet from nose to tail, just a little smaller than the new Boeing 747-8. The huge Engine Alliance motors produce between 70 and 72,000 pounds of thrust each. The 10-foot diameter intakes would let me stand up with plenty of room to spare. The tail of the A380 stands 80 feet high. Think of the view from the office flight deck like sitting in a really tall SUV. With wingtips 130 feet from the center of the fuselage, the pilot taxis using a camera tucked nicely behind the nose gear. The computer calculates the takeoff speeds. The flight deck is an ocean of video screens. Behind the two pilots, there are also jump seats for 5 more people. 382,900 kilos. Let's see, that's about 844,000 pounds at takeoff today. We were pretty light. This is an Airbus, so there's no control wheel. The A380 is just one big airplane. Just look at the dust behind the airplane with the engines at nearly idle power. In case you're trying to count, this bird has 22 wheels and tires to check before takeoff. Now it's my turn. Flying the A380, a digital airplane with a side stick, was a bit like flight sim. It was so light on the controls. But no automation for me on this trip. I wanted to fly this airplane. The A380 can seat nearly 800 people in its tightest configuration. Then, of course, there's the landing. When you're landing the A380, people tend to notice.
$70, $60, $50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Retard. That's not a comment about the pilot. It's only the way the Brits remind the driver to pull the throttles back to idle. Only 2 thrust reversers on the inboard engines of the A380. This ensures that the outboard engines don't suck junk up off the ground since they hang out over the sides of the runway. Time for another takeoff. Rotation speed, that spot where I pull back on the stick, is about 165 miles an hour today, depending on where the throttles are set.
V1.
Just like the Cirrus. Well, almost. Like I said, I wanted to fly the airplane, not play with the electronics. Judging heights from a cockpit 40 feet above the ground can be a little challenging on final. The A380 computers, though, help make that just a little bit easier. Looking very professional on the outside, while inside, I kept thinking, this is so cool.
Retard. 5.
It was all over, though, before I knew it. I'm just glad I didn't have to pay for the fuel. Bigger aircraft may weigh more, but the decision-making process for the pilots is the same that we teach in the Archer or the Cirrus. Thanks to Airbus for letting me borrow their A380 for an afternoon, as well as my intrepid right seat instructor. That was Airbus Senior Vice President of Flight, Claude Lelay. We hope you enjoyed a look inside the giant A380 with us today. If you're an aviation geek at heart, you might want to visit our other sites as well. The award-winning industry blog Jetwhine.com and our weekly radio show, The Airplane Geeks. That's at airplanegeeks.com. For Jetwhine.com and The Airplane Geeks, I'm Rob Mark.